Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Sims 4 video on my channel. Today we're building a modern shipping container house here in Copperdale on one of my favorite lots. It's called LaSuli Point, just in case you want to download this and place it here. So this house is supposed to look like it's built from 3 different shipping containers. There are debug shipping containers in the game, and I use them as a reference just for size, but you can't really use them to build a house. They're more of an additional decoration if we wanted to add more containers. The house looks pretty big here, even though it is not actually, because this is just a 20 by 15 lot, so it's rather small, and therefore also the house is rather small. We have only 1 bedroom upstairs and 1.5 bathrooms, and one of the reasons for that is, as I said before, that the house is not that big, but also that I wanted to keep it more open, and so we don't have a lot of separate rooms. The upstairs is basically just a bedroom and the bathroom, and downstairs we have a living room, a separate bathroom, and the kitchen with the dining area all together. What's interesting here, and this was not intentional, is that the house has a lot of flat roofs, of course, because it's built from shipping containers with different porch, patio, and deck areas here, which are furnished with different sitting accommodations. So for this house it took me a while to figure out the wall patterns I wanted to use, because there was a lot going on. As you can see here, we had different color schemes for the wall patterns, but also for the flooring. So for the shipping containers, I used a wall pattern from Eco Lifestyle, which is specifically for shipping containers, and I think it looks quite good, even though the texture is flat, so it's not perfect, but I think it does what it's supposed to do. I used some of the wall decorations from the Vampires expansion to give it a bit more of a used look. We have these holes in the wall, the scratches, which I had later on. I think it made everything look so much better. I also used a lot of debug objects from Eco Lifestyle, for example these metal platforms here, and initially I wanted this house to be a 1-pack build, so I just wanted to use base game and Eco Lifestyle. But then I found so many other objects from different packs that I wanted to use, for example werewolves, get together, and for the interior also Dream Home Decorator, which I used for almost all the furniture I think. So I used a lot of different packs for this one, but I promise the next upload will be a base game build or 1-pack build. If you have any suggestions for 1-pack builds or 2-pack builds, leave a comment in the comments, of course, down below. So at first I didn't want this build to be overgrown, but I think it fits quite nicely into the aesthetic. We have an industrial build, but also a lot of nature here, and as you can see we have a lot of steel outside, a lot of trash actually lying around, but also lots of plants, and the inside is a bit of a contrast because we have very clean open spaces, lots of white, lots of light wood, and an overall more modern house, which is not really what I usually build, but I like to try out different stuff from time to time, and I've had a shipping container house on my list for a while now. By the way, this house took me insanely long to build, even though it's not that big, just because I couldn't figure out how I wanted it to look like, and as I said before, I wasn't really sure about the color scheme, but I really like the green, the gray, and the yellow together. I think it looks quite nice. Also the light wood tones and the white inside, I think it's a nice contrast. As you can see, I used a lot of debug objects as additional detail. For example, these rusty pipes or whatever they are, these debug rails here for some shade, some tires, some parking barriers, some concrete barriers. So the focus here was to make this look like it was built from recycled materials, for example shipping containers, as I said before, even though shipping containers are probably not the best building material because I suppose they're quite difficult to insulate. Also, I'm not too sure if it's kind of a health risk to live in them because you never know what they contained before, and personally I'm not sure if I wanted to live in a shipping container house, even though they look pretty cool, I have to admit that. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this type of house and if you would like to live in one. Also, maybe there's an expert for shipping container houses watching this. Let me know if there are any major advantages or disadvantages to building with containers, and I've only seen a few videos, and it appears that especially insulating them is quite difficult because it takes away a lot of the inside space or outside space if you don't want to keep the aesthetic. But what's the point of using shipping containers then. But luckily we don't have this problem in Sims because there is no installation needed. If I remember correctly, there are also people buying new containers to build these container houses, which kind of defeats the purpose for me, because I think the original intention was to upcycle used containers that would be destroyed otherwise. So there's not really a point in buying a new container to build a house. I'm not even sure if I remember this correctly. But it's kind of the same thing with hardware stores selling pallet furniture that's supposed to look like you made it yourself. I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's basically outdoor furniture made from pallets, wooden planks, and the furniture is supposed to look like you build it yourself. And this type of furniture actually looks really cool, but I don't understand why people would buy it for loads of money, because the whole point is, at least in my opinion, to build cheap furniture from leftover materials. And as I said before, it kind of defeats the purpose for me to use new materials and make them look like they're old or recycled materials. And I think we even have a table in the game. It's from Discover University, if I remember correctly. Anyway, moving on to the interior now. As you can see, the kitchen is quite modern. We don't have a lot of clutter going on, just because I wanted to keep the build modern, light, very open, not too much clutter here. I also kind of struggled with the interior layout because we have a lot of windows again, and especially the staircase was a problem here. But I eventually figured out where to put it, and I think this is a good spot. I had to extend the house to the back a bit, but it worked out quite nicely, and I used the staircase from Werewolves, which is also very cool because it has this industrial look to it. I'm not too sure what this wall decoration here is supposed to be or where it's from, but I really like it here just because it fits the overall aesthetic quite well. And this is the living room here. We have the TV next to this archway. It's not perfect here, but I think it works. I'm also not sure why I never used this couch here, because it's very nice and also modular. It's from Dream Home Decorator, and as I said before, Dream Home Decorator has a lot of very nice objects. For example, this desk here and the chair. The fireplace is from Eco Lifestyle, and the lamp is also from Dream Home Decorator. I think it's a very nice lamp. So we're now moving on to the bedroom, which is the last room left, except for the half bathroom we have upstairs. I use my favorite bed here again just because I think it fits very well, which is also from Eco Lifestyle. I think the game really needs more nice beds because in base game there are not any good ones at all. In my opinion, I don't really like any of them. So I'm hoping they include a few new beds in the base game update that's supposed to come out. I don't know when. But I hope we get a few new interesting objects because I'm kind of bored with what we have in base game at this point. So we're almost at the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you liked the build. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. If you want to download this, it's Playtested. My gallery ID is in the description. See you guys next time. Peace out.